Good evening, I'm Ces Orenia Drilon.
And I'm Ed Lingao.
The big stories tonight. The new speaker has his work cut out for him as the House of Representatives is hounded by criticism of corruption. Representative Boji D says he will work towards restoring the Filipinos' faith in the lower chamber.
One question for the new House leadership: will it investigate officials and members being tagged in anomalous flood control projects? One of them is, of course, former Appropriations Chair Zaldico, who is still missing in action as we speak.
And speaking of Zaldico, he's also being accused of pressuring the Agriculture Department for fish import permits. We talk about that issue and more with DA Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel, who joins us later on in the program.
I step down not in surrender. The greatest act of leadership is the grace to let it go.
Ako na ho ang unang magsasabi sa ating mga kababayan. Meron po kaming pagkukulang. Nakikiusap po kami na sana bigyan niyo kami ng pagkakataong ituwid ang mga maling kalakaran at linisin ang aming hanay. Nakikiusap po kami na bigyan niyo pa kami ng tsansang makuha muli ang inyong pong tiwala.
And it has finally happened. That much talked about House leadership change has come to pass after the resignation of Martin Romualdez.
The president's cousin has been replaced by a lawmaker from the north. But Faustino Boji D III is definitely not a new player in politics. Mobile Journal Arles de los Santos with tonight's big story.
I have made a decision today with a full heart and a clear conscience. I tender my resignation as Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Leyte 1st District Representative Martin Romualdez has relinquished the lower chamber's highest post. According to him, this is to spare the House amid the criticisms against him, specifically on his alleged involvement in flood control projects.
I do this so that the Independent Commission on Infrastructure may pursue its mandate freely and fully, without doubt, without interference, without undue influence. Walang pipigil, walang makikialam.
He also reiterated his cousin, President Bongbong Marcos's warning in his State of the Nation address that accountability is king, which Romualdez wholeheartedly accepts.
I step down not in surrender, but in service. For sometimes, the greatest act of leadership is the grace to let it go, so that this institution may endure stronger than ever before.
After Romualdez's speech, his colleagues immediately nominated the next speaker. There's only one, Isabela 6th District Representative Faustino Boji D III. 28 abstained, mostly from the minority bloc, and as expected. Also abstaining was Cavite 4th District Representative Kiko Barzaga, who had said he wanted the speakership for himself. The plenary burst out in laughter as he announced his vote.
I abstain.
Another abstention came from Sagig Party List Representative Paulo Marcoleta.
My vote could have gone to either Kong Toby Chanco, Kong Duke Frasco, or Kong Miao Kiko Barzaga. But since they are not on the list, because I think they're not ready to run yet, maybe at least not for now, I think the House needs a major institutional change, institutional reforms, not just cosmetic changes.
We are not honoring anyone right now. We will proceed with the election.
In the end, the result of the vote was no surprise, a supermajority choosing D as new House Speaker.
With 253 votes, the Chair declares the Honorable Faustino Boji D III from the 6th District of Isabela as the duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Hindi ko po ito inaasahan.
As he ascended the rostrum, D acknowledged the challenges besetting the lower chamber and that he's ready to address them all and show results. Among other things, he promised transparency in the budget process and, in so many words, do some thorough house cleaning, all to restore the faith of the Filipino people in the institution. Mobile Journal Arles de los Santos. We are One News.
In his first speech after being sworn in as the new leader of the House of Representatives, Speaker Bogie D had a strong message. The lower chamber will change under his watch. D led off his speech by admitting the House's shortcomings and asked the public for a chance to regain its trust.
Meron po akong pangamba sa aking dibdib habang iniisip ko ang hamon na katungkulang inaatang sa aking balikat. Patid ko po na marami sa ating mga kababayan ang nasasaktan at nagagalit na dahil sa mga kasalukuyang kaganapan. Naiintindihan ko po kayo. Ako na ho ang unang magsasabi sa ating mga kababayan. Meron po kaming pagkukulang. Nakikiusap po kami na sana bigyan niyo kami ng pagkakataong ituwid ang mga maling kalakaran at linisin ang aming hanay. Nakikiusap po kami na magbigyan niyo pa kami ng tsansang makuha muli ang inyo pong tiwala. Under my leadership, this House will change. I will not defend the guilty and I will not shield the corrupt.
D also vows not to back down in holding erring lawmakers to account. He promises to submit to the ongoing investigation into alleged corruption, particularly on flood control projects.
Ako po ay kaisa ng ating mahal na Pangulo sa kanyang layunin na linisin ang pamahalaan upang tayo ay bumangon muli. Under my leadership, this House will change. I will not defend the guilty and I will not shield the corrupt. Gaya ng paninindigan ng ating Pangulo, no rank, no ally, no office will be spared from accountability. We must strengthen the Oversight Committee and fully cooperate with the Independent Commission of Infrastructure. Our duty is not to protect each other. Our duty is to protect the Filipino people.
The new speaker also reminded members of the House not to use the institution for personal gain.
Malinaw sa akin na higit matimbang ang aking pananagutang itaguyod ng ating saligang batas at unahin ang kapakanan ng mas nakakarami. Hindi ko hayaan ang sino man na membro dito sa 20th Congress na gamitin ng Kongreso para sa kanyang personal na interes. Panahon na nang ituon natin ang ating paningin sa mga pangailangan ng ating mga kababayan. Sila ang rason kung bakit tayo naririto. Huwag sana po natin kalimutan yan. Sila ang unahin natin bago ang pangsariling kapakanan.
Speaker Bogie D is also promising accountability and transparency in the crafting of the national budget. He says it will be corruption-free.
Sa tulong ninyo, sisiguraduhin natin na ang bawat sentimo ng paglalaanan ng budget sa bawat departamento ay tutugma sa pangangailangan ng mamamayang Pilipino. Pagtutulungan nating makapagpasa ng isang maayos at malinis na budget na mailalaan lamang tama sa mga programa para sa ating taong bayan.
Just who is Faustino Bogie D III? representative of the 6th District of Isabela and now House Speaker. Well, he was one of the 11 deputy speakers of the 20th Congress. He is a party mate of President Bongbong Marcos in the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas. And before that, D served as Isabela Vice Governor from 2019 to 2025. He also served as Isabela 3rd District Representative for 9 years. Now let's learn more about Speaker D, and helping us with that is my partner tonight, Ed Lingao. Ed, ilatag mo nga kung ang family tree ng mga D.
Okay, says the D dynasty, if you might call it that, is one of the more politically resilient political families in the country, spanning several generations, several local levels, and several administrations, and sometimes even being able to navigate between two conflicting political positions. So let's start off with the D patriarch, si Faustino D Sr. I understand you talked to him before in your younger days. He was started off sa Konseho ng Kawayan in 1962, naging mayor ng Kawayan 1964 to 71, gobernador from 71 to 86, and then with the break with the EDSA Revolution from 88 to 92. So in total, governor siya ng Isabela for 19 years, the longest serving governor of the province of Isabela. Yan po yung lolo. Ito po yung, konti pang background. Some people may not know this, but magkaibigan po si Governor Faustino D. Sr. at si Ninoy Aquino. In fact, nung si D was having problems with the New People's Army in his province, he was able to find a solution with Ninoy Aquino. So he was a friend of Ninoy Aquino, also a member of the Liberal Party, CD. Now, that's curious because come 1972, nung dineclare ang martial law, he joined, of course, the kilusang bagong lipunan ni Ferdinand Marcos. So lumipat po siya ng side, and he became allies with the President Marcos, and he was part of the solid North Bloc, yung mga probinsya sa norte kung saan solid na solid yung boto at yung suporta para kay Pangulong Marcos. So that shift in the politics there. Ang kanyang anak ay si Faustino D, of course, Jr. From 1992 to 2001, siya po ang congressman ng Isabela, tapos naging gobernador from 2001 to 2004. 2004, nag-break lang po siya dahil natalo siya kay Grace Padaka na isang broadcast journalist noong 2004. Ang pumalit naman kay Grace Padaka is another D, si Benjamin D. But later na po yan. Now, sa kanilang apo po, so the dynasty grows some more. Congressman, now Speaker Faustino D. III, congressman po siya. A lot of people don't know this. From 2001 to 2010, the full 3 terms ng isang congressman bago mag-term limit. Then he became governor from 2010 to 2019, vice gov 2019-2025, and now po congressman and then speaker. Yan po ang ating speaker ngayon, si Faustino D. III. But the family continues to grow. So Faustino D. V naman ito, congressman from 2019 to 2022, at ngayon po siya po mayor ng Etsague ngayon 2025. Some more Ds in Congress lamang. You have right now 3 D na magkakamag-anak. Siyempre, in the 20th Congress, si Faustino D. ang speaker ngayon. Ian Paul D. ang kanyang pamangkin. Si Faustino Michael Carlos D. III, also kanyang pamangkin. Some more Ds as the clan continues to grow. Francis Faustino D. Vice Governor at kapatid po. Nandiyan din po si Manuel Faustino D. ang Provincial Board Member. At si JCD, Mayor po ng Kawayan. Faustino Dondon D. Mayor naman ng San Manuel. And si Benji D. Vice Mayor po ng Kawayan. At si Bernard Faustino D. Ambassador to Switzerland. So all in all, ang incumbent ngayon ng mga D siguro mga anywhere from 10 to 15. Of course, this is not the full list. This is only the list that we were able to unearth so far. Hindi pa natin nakikita yung mga in-laws. But some more interesting facts here. The Marcos D connection, as we talked about a while ago, magka-alyado po sila after martial law was declared, si Patriarch D at si Ferdinand Marcos. Ngayon, kama 2016, si Faustino D. III endorsed BBM for the vice presidency in 2016. Not surprising there. Also, in 2022, Faustino D. also endorsed Bongbong and Sara Duterte in the 2022 elections. But this is the one that's also surprising. In the same election, Faustino D. III endorsed Risa Ontiveros for in her Senate run. So nakikita mo, yung dynasty, medyo marunong rin maglaro at marunong sumugal at tumaya kung sino man ang maaaring mga maasahan sa susunod na mga taon.
Ibig mong sabihin, may mga kaibigan sila in opposing political parties or fences.
Well,
Pwedeng mag-over the bakod.
Yeah, but that's also something that you tend to see with most of the major resilient, and I use that word resilient with quotes, political dynasties. They're able to navigate the treacherous waters of partisan politics. Marunong silang tumaya kung saan-saan maaring maging susunod na powers that be.
Okay, thank you, Bok Ed. You can join me here while I introduce our next guest. But I'd also like to tell you a story na late 80s, nakapunta ako ng Isabela at kasama ko at nakoberan ko ang original Faustino D. And yes, and at that time, I can remember, it's seared in my memory. Maraming kafgu nakapaligid sa bahay niya. Oo.
Siguro naka-camouflage pants yan, tapos naka-t-shirt lang, tapos naka-chinelas.
Mga kagaran-garan pa.
Bandolier.
Oo, bandolier. Yes, correct. Tapos, maraming taong pumipila sa bahay nila.
Very local politics.
Yes. One of the first tastes of how it was back then, nung sinasabing guns, and gold ang naghahari.
Well, a lot of things don't change naman until now, ganun pa rin naman, except now the militia are better dressed.
Yeah, they don't have all those bandoliers of bullets.
They're in formal attire now.
Now
Formal
let's
uniforms.
get reactions on the new House Speaker, and joining us tonight is Iloilo 1st District Representative and Deputy Speaker Janet Garin. Welcome to the big story, Congresswoman.
Thank you, Cess, and thank you for inviting me.
So it's been an eventful day, pero parang planchado naman ang mga detalye. What are your expectations, Congresswoman?
Well, inaamin namin, matagal nang alam ng Kongreso na nagkaroon nga ng problema. But we are very clear in saying na hindi naman lahat. And as an institution, we have to own up to what has happened in the 19th Congress. And while it is true that Speaker Martin Romualdez has been contemplating to step down several weeks ago, tumagal lang talaga yung usapan that we have to have a reckoning force, a light that can magnetize and guide all members na maski meron kaming mga konting mga hindi pagkakaintindihan, lalo na sa mga advokasya, at the end of the day, we should stay united, focused, and deliver for the Filipino people.
Pero Congresswoman, it's been pointed out that, being a member of a powerful political dynasty, medyo nagdududa ang publiko sa anong made-deliver ng bagong House Speaker.
Well, unang-una, lingid sa kaalaman ng marami, Speaker Bogie D never had the ambition of becoming Speaker. At minsan, ang taong maraming ambisyon, mas matututukan niya ang institusyon. Moreover, he has been bent and committed, although ayaw niya yung posisyon, he has been bent and committed to let those accountable be responsible for their actions if ever meron. And I am not saying that Speaker Martin Romualdez is guilty of any crime, but his stepping down is to show the people that he takes responsibility for what happened in the 19th Congress, kung meron. But at the same time, para mawala na yung mga haka-haka, na kung siya'y napangalanan, kung siya'y masasama dun sa ibang mga kapartido or whatever, talagang mahaharap niya, sasagutin niya, at walang masasabing mali siya doon sa investigasyon.
Ang isang malaking hamon kay Speaker D ngayon ay, nasan ba si Congressman Saldico? Hindi ba dapat ay para rin maprotektahan ang integridad ng House, ay tawagin niya na bumalik kung saan man siya naroroon po?
That is what former Speaker Martin Romualdez has been doing. And hindi lang namin sinabi to sa labas, pero I was personally witness na ilang beses na pinapakontak niya, tinatawagan niya mismo na kung pwedeng umuwi para masagot. So initially, we were told there was a health problem and in 2 weeks' time, baka makarating. Unfortunately, hindi. That's why the semblance of the Speaker resigning is actually showing the Filipino people that he will try to deliver and invite Congressman Saldico, para masagot niya lahat ng mga ito. But at the same time, Speaker Bogie D will now be the light. No? Kasi hindi pwedeng matutok na lang tayo doon. Tapos makalimutan natin yung ating malaki pang trabaho. Kaya nga, ang kanyang pakiusap is, bigyan nyo kami ng pagkakataon na magampanan ang aming tungkulin. And he was very clear in saying na kung merong miyembro ang Kongreso na madadamay, ay dapat managot. We will be there to possibly do emotional support, but we cannot do a cover-up, and we will be 100% cooperative in sending all information and providing any information that the Independent Commission on Infrastructure will be needing from us.
Ma'am, sabi niyo nga, pinapabalik na si Zaldico. Pero can you give us some context there? Is he being asked to return? Is he being ordered or summoned to return? And what are the powers of Congress as far as that is concerned? Can Congress require him to return, or is it only by invitation as a colleague?
Sa amin is by invitation, no? And personal appeal for the past weeks actually. But all of this we kept internally dun sa liderato ng Kongreso. Be that as it may, kaya nga maganda na andyan na yung ICI, lalo na ito, merong panukalang batas si Congresswoman Laila de Lima na may contempt powers. Because the ICI will now independently work towards inviting, or probably if the need arises, issue a subpoena to the people who can shed light and allow us to see the bigger picture of what has been happening.
Ma'am, kasi si Congressman Ronnie Puno mentioned this this phrase na, if possible, forcibly, or if necessary, forcibly make him come back. I'm referring, of course, to Zaldico. Is that in any way in the equation of things? Can he be forcibly required by Congress to come back?
Kung merong sapat na rason at dokumento ang ating ICI, then the legal remedies can be resorted to. And I believe, siguro sa nakita na natin lahat, na the Speaker has to step down, be accountable, and as a leader, show to the institution that he has to take full responsibility for what happened. This is also a sign for Congressman Saldico to shed light on many questions that are haunting the Filipino people.
You said that there was a health issue involved. Meron bang medical certificate? Meron bang ipinakita sa inyo na katanggap-tanggap na paliwanag?
Personally sa akin, wala, no? And when we asked, we were told na uuwi nga, no? And it was just later when we realized na meron yatang mga nuances. Now, I'm not really privy into the situation because, of course, Congressman Saldico has his own family. Maybe he's also thinking about his safety. Yung mga bagay na mga ganito. Kaya nga, kami, during the Infracom committee hearing, I was pushing for reforms in the 2026 budget and the accountability of the contractors na pwede pa nating singilin. Ipagpatuloy nila yung mga project at yung 2026 ay talagang dapat para na sa taong bayan, para na sa bagong Pilipinas.
Ma'am, what about Speaker Romualdez? Kasi we've been talking so far about Zaldico. Some people are saying na si Speaker Romualdez should also be investigated by the committees. For example, the insertions being done. Kasi in the end, he was the Speaker at the time when these massive insertions took place.
That is why he stepped down, taking full responsibility, even if he was not directly involved in these insertions. At dun sa mga investigasyon ng ICI, he gave his word to all the members, especially the party leaders, that he will fully cooperate in all these investigations. At kung sakasakali talagang mapangalanan siya, he will submit himself and prove that his conscience is clear. So that is something na tututukan niya, but at the same time performing his duties as Congressman of the 1st District of Leyte.
You said he was not directly involved. Is that your belief? Is that a statement of fact?
When you do insertions, when the bicameral conference committee meets, or itong sinasabing small committee, that's the chairman of the appropriation and the other members na nai-elect to be present in that. So usually the speaker is not involved.
So,
but of course, yun nga yung sinasabi natin is he takes full responsibility kasi ano pa rin yan siya pa rin ang is the top leader of the institution
Yes,
when
ma'am.
these allegations happened.
Kasi nga ma'am, in the end, he was a speaker. He was in charge of the entire chamber. And the entire chamber is taking the brunt of the beating right now. So at the very least, I don't know, but at the very least, some people are saying the command responsibility is very, very hard to miss. At the very least.
That is why, no, with due courtesy, ang ginawa ni Speaker Martin Romualdez is a selfless act. And we are hoping that Congressman Saldico will do the same.
Well, he took his time about it.
Unang-una kasi, no, what made it long, syempre, if a leader steps down, there will always be discussions on sino ang papalit. And you know, having more than 300 congressmen na mga hari at reyna din sa kanya-kanyang mga lugar, and it's very difficult to manage, we have to have a leader without any interests. Alam mo the institution is under fire. It's very important for us to choose a leader who can unite all members and move forward, but at the same time making sure that accountability is not lost. Hindi siya ganun kadali kasi maraming nuances yan eh. That's why it took some time.
On another matter, ma'am, para kayong naging nanay-nanayan ni Congressman Barsaga in a way. I mean, there were many videos of you together. And there was, laughter from some of your colleagues when he said that he would abstain from voting. What do you make of the impact he's had on Congress? Damaging ba talaga, or is it a wake-up call for all of you to realize, the damage that's been done?
I believe when our colleagues laughed, it was because he was jumping and doing that. Kasi it's natural for him to always do that. But ako kasi I'm very close to the parents. So I talked to the Kong and I told him, pag nasa plenary, ito yung decorum. Ito yung mga hindi pwedeng gawin. Kasi like he has his principles, he has his advocacies, but it has to be in the proper forum and under proper decorum or yung tamang behavior. So yung pagtatalon is supposed to be hindi na niya gagawin yon. So siguro nakalimutan niya. Kaya ganun. Kaya sabi niya, oops, sorry. And I said okay, it's okay. But then moving forward, we do admit that there are minimum expected behavior of government officials. And this is something that we have to thoroughly discuss. I have conveyed to Congressman Kiko Barsaga na while we do respect him, hindi pwedeng pag nagsasalita si Speaker Martin, then later on si Speaker Boji, nila-live niya at then medyo marami siyang bad words na sinasabi. Hindi maganda yon because he can always comment, he can always blog, but it should have basis and it should not be inciting people to go after our government, to have a revolutionary government, because that is not healthy. That is not pro-Filipino.
Ma'am, we've had a change in the Speaker. Are we expecting any changes, any major changes in the House leadership from the Deputy Speakers down to the Deputy Majority Leaders and maybe even the committee chairmen or chairpersons?
As far as I know, the House is stable. There will be no changes. However, if there is a member implicated in the scandal or in a mess, it is our moral obligation to change that leadership post, no? Kung merong mga makikita. But as of now, we focus on delivering a budget that is pro-Filipino and that is attuned to the kumpas ng ating Pangulo para sa bagong Pilipinas.
So barring any findings adverse to any senior House official, it will be status quo?
Yes, that was what we get from our new Speaker, and that is also the wisdom and the direction of our Majority Leader, Congressman Sandro Marcos.
All right, we thank you for joining us, Iloilo 1st District Representative and Deputy Speaker Janet Garin.
We will take a quick break, but coming up, we speak to Agriculture Secretary Kiko Tiu Laurel, who earlier reveals being forced by a congressman for fish permits. Stay tuned to The Big Story.
Welcome back to the big story. It's not just flood control, the issue of flood control, nor insertions in the 2025 budget that he has to answer to. Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico is also being accused of forcing the Department of Agriculture to issue fish import permits. That was recently revealed by Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. during a House budget hearing. According to Chu Laurel, Co pressured the DA to issue import permits to his 3 companies engaged in the fishing business. The permits supposedly were for 3,000 containers, but the Agriculture Secretary refused because the DA was by then already following a formula that's fair for all. And we now discuss this with Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. Good evening to you, Secretary. Welcome to the big story.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Ses and Ed. Happy to be here.
All right. Let's try to backtrack to the exact time that you felt that there was something fishy, sorry for the pun, about the request of... I'm not blaming the scriptwriter for that. Request of Congressman Zaldico.
Nangyari yun in about September 2024. I have a text from him, actually, that is still with me now, na no October 24, pinangalan niya yung 3 kumpanya na gusto niyang bigyan dapat namin ng 3,000 containers ng frozen imported fish.
Tapos paulit-ulit po ba? How did you handle that?
Well, I told him na mahirap ito dahil the amount is so huge. Number one, it's more than the allocation for everybody, no, the industry itself. So sabi ko, parang mahihirapan ako dito. He tried to justify it to me na hindi, dapat mas marami para mas magmura ang isda at just trying to justify whatever possible to convince me. And then, I really tried to avoid him sometimes calling and texting. And at the end of the day, sabi ko, I cannot grant this to you dahil babalik ako sa aking industriya. Ano mukhang pakikita ko doon? Tsaka, I have my constituents to think about. Kung paano yan pag bumagsak masyado presyo ng isda? Kawawa naman yung ating mga isda.
Opo. Ilatag niyo muna sa amin, Secretary, kung ano ba yung sistema na fair. How does it work?
Panahon ni Secretary Dar, during the Duterte time, they just arbitrary declared na kailangan natin mag-import ng 150,000 tons na kung ang kailangan lang actually at that time, if I recall, ang recommendation ng industry was only 45 to 55,000 tons. Then they just allocate it to any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Meron pa na-create na mga fictitious fishing companies na bangka lang ang boat, na pinakita, mga ganon. So, dati ganon ang sistema. Nung pumasok na ako, since I'm in the industry, so, kinlin up ko yung list, no? And although meron pa rin mga maliliit na fishing companies nga na smaller boats pinagbigyan, but then ang formula namin is kung ilan ang nahuli mo at binenta mo sa local market, so through the Philippine Fisheries Development Ports, yun lang ang i-consider. Yung mga private ports naman, we considered 20% lang ng declared nila kasi tingin ko yun lang ang totoo.
This is when the season is closed, kaya pinahihintulutan ng exports. Tama po ba?
Pinapahintulutan ho ang imports during close season.
Okay. So, ibig niyong sabihin, patakaran pala ito during the time of the former president. So, sinabi ba ni Congressman Zaldico na, ginagawa ko na to noon? Meron bang gano'n?
Well, hindi naman niya sinabi yun in a way na gano'n. But of course, when I looked at the 3 companies' records, it's clear na ginagawa niya. Marami na pinapasok ng 3 kumpanya. I'm getting all the data, no? Kasi na-review ko na to dati, but I'm looking for the files and we will show the public yan kung ano yung dati at yung tumupo kung ano yung nangyari doon sa quantities nila.
You mean, sir, on record, you have records to show that he has asked for these 3 companies before?
No, those companies that Sir, the companies na ninominate niya sa akin, yung tatlo na yon, meron naman records niya kung ilan na import nila dati. So kita natin na medyo may marami silang na-import base sa bagong sistema namin ngayon. No, na it's basically performance-based ho yan, or merit-based.
But sir, when you say 3,000 containers, that amounts to how many tons? Kasi kanina we were talking about 150,000 tons of fish by your predecessor.
Sorry, I did not compute, pero it's about 90,000 tons if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
That's a lot. That's parang...
At 30 tons per container.
And sir, have you been able to identify, or have you checked whether these three companies are directly linked to Congressman Zaldico?
Well, I checked, but unfortunately, I checked before. Definitely walang direct link sa kanya. But I have a text niya with his name on a Viber, may timestamp yan lahat, na text niya sa akin.
I asked that, sir, Bok. I asked that kasi one of the names you mentioned of the company is ZC Corporation, if I remember correctly.
ZC Victory Fishing Corporation. Basically, ang nakita ko dyan, it's really an existing company in General Santos na may mga small size fishing fleet. But yung unloading records nila is definitely do not commensurate to the amount of import permits they were previously given.
Not to be malicious.
But yung ownership nun is real owner naman yon, tingin ko. But at the end of the day, yan ang ninominate niyang kumpanya sa akin. At yun ang gagamitin niya.
Yes, sir. Kasi coincidentally lang, the initials are the same. ZC.
I also thought that, pero the company's name is really ZC. Okay. But of course, I don't know if there's an internal arrangement na with the owners, but I don't want to speculate lang.
Yes, sir.
Did he drop any names to you na alam nyo na kung hindi mo to susundan, patay ka kay ganito. I don't know. I'm speculating here, but
hindi naman niya siguro gagawin niya kasi alam naman niya malapit ako sa ating presidente. Hindi niya ako kayang takutin doon.
Pero sinumbong niyo ba kay presidente?
Kasi hindi naman kailangan isumbong sa akin kasi hindi ko naman pinagbigyan. So it stopped at my it stopped with me. Then there's no need to
But what prompted you to make that revelation in the House during their budget hearing?
Yeah, well, in fairness naman to Kong Ridon, I think he's just doing what he wanted to do. But then he was already, yung politics niya, I can understand that, no? And, and that's Congress, sila. Pero sa akin, when parang pinalalabas niya na binigyan namin ng pabor ang pamilya ni Congressman Tiangco to get a lion's share of it's already attacking yung sistema namin at yung policies namin. And kung hindi ko na-depend na maigi yan, ibig sabihin, pinaboran ko. Pero parang sinasabi ko lang, kaya nabanggit ko yun, is parang sinasabi ko is, may tumawag nga sa akin congressman, si Zaldico nga yun, hindi ko nga pinagbigyan, si Toby pa.
Kaya tumahimik na po siya. Parang ganon. It was really just to put him in his place.
Nakita ko naman, napangiti naman siya, and he was okay naman. He asked more questions to get details, and he said, okay. So, I mean, okay naman. Wala naman akong it's a good exchange lang naman for me.
Okay. But can you give us an idea how much profit this will make, if ever?
3,000 containers. Oh my God. Minimum yan, sabihin mo ng 1 million per container to 1.5 million per container. Sorry, hindi ko na mabilang. Sorry.
1.5 million per container, tapos ilang container na nga?
3,000.
3,000.
Teka, ang hirap ng math. Pagka billion-billion na yung, million, madaming zero.
Kasi million na isa, tapos add mo 3 zero, billions na.
Billion na nga, no?
Oh, tama ba, sir? Sorry, mathematics.
At the expense of the fishermen here, di ba? Babagsak yung presyo.
At saka at the expense of the industry players, from small, medium, large, di ba? So medyo hindi, at of course, ang magbe-benefit lang doon is the other country that has exported to us.
Okay, since kayo ay sige.
Mathematics, okay.
Sige,
At
go ahead.
3,000 containers, 1 to 1.5 million each. So
per.
that's 3 to 4.5 billion total.
Wow. Wow. Hindi mo na kailangan ng ghost project ng flood control.
Hindi ko sabi na.
Pero, okay, Secretary, since you are in a mood to disclose, ano pa ba yung mga pabor na hinihingi ng mga congressman sa inyo?
Well, hindi naman, normal, alam mo yung karamihan naman ng congressman na mga request niya is parochial concerns nila eh. Karamihan dyan would be projects, equipment, yung nasa DA menu like farm to market roads, ganun naman eh, which is, I find normal naman. So wala akong nakikitang, and it's usually for the benefit of their constituents eh. Ito lang talaga, medyo, honestly, medyo I was taken aback kasi bago pa ako noon eh. Wala pa akong isang taon noon eh. So, medyo nagulat ako.
Pero naalala nyo, meron namang fertilizer fund scam noon, di ba? So,
I'm not too, honestly, I'm not too familiar with the fertilizer scam before because I was not in that, sa fisheries lang talaga.
Dinadaan sa foundation.
May fertilizer na binibili para sa Metro Manila
na overpriced. Oo, na mga pang-orchids pero panghalam. Dapat sa magsasaka pero
wala naman ganun nangyayari tingin ko ngayon.
Sir, yung mga farm to market roads po, were we able to check if these, kasi I think these fall under your jurisdiction, were able to check if these were really built as according to plan or were they ghost projects?
Well, I nagpa-audit ako ngayon dahil nga sa flood control issue na yan. Although I'd like to share to the public na ang implementing agency yan is DPWH. It is not DA. We only identify and the budget actually goes direct to DPWH. DPWH ang nag-implement. From what nagpa-audit na ako at meron din kaming konting nakikitang ghost as of the moment. But I'm having it validated personally. Pinapapunta ko specifically mga tao na, but very, very minor. And may nakita kami 2021 and 2022. But to be validated. So we're on it and we will not let this pass kung meron man.
But how minor, sir, is minor? Kasi of course we're talking about millions and hundreds of millions here.
Well, maybe a few 100 million.
That's not minor. Kayo naman.
I mean, maybe 150 million. Well, it's not minor, but I'm just saying in the whole scale of what is being discussed now, maliit ito. Yun lang ibig sabihin ko doon.
Okay, sige. We understood. Secretary, meron bang road to my farm? Kasi yun ang sinasabi dati ni Secretary Babe Singson na yung pinagagawa minsan ng mga congressman, hindi pala farm to market road, road to my farm.
Well, honestly, if we want to be technical on that, I think road to a real farm naman, whether it is a politician or not, it's still a farm, no? Pero yung road to my resort, yun ang iba.
Okay, wala namang ganun.
Sir, may road to my resort?
Pinapa-audit ko rin ho yung ngayon.
Meron din. Nako. Teka, panghuli na po, Secretary. Ano naman po ang sabi ni Congressman Ko nung when you refuse him and you weren't answering his calls any longer, wala na?
Naramdaman ko talaga na sumama loob niya sa akin.
Paano po?
Well, minsan, siyempre, nasa APROS, nag-request kami ng mga budget, sana madagdagan kami sa BICAM and all of that for irrigation, for dryer systems and all of that. Hindi na ako sinasagot eh.
So, yung budget nyo na-slash?
Actually, to be honest with you, I was surprised, no? But I don't blame Congress lang this. Nasa BICAM to eh. Yung aming National Rice Program, grabe, nung lumabas yung GAA namin, nabawasan ng 10 billion.
Actually, sir, yeah. We
so
saw that.
So ang sama ng loob namin doon, parang sinasabotahe ba kami dito? Parang ganun feeling namin eh. But of course, I reported that to our president, and the president immediately acted on it, and and the team in Malacanang and our fellow other secretaries helped us get it back, no? Nakuha namin just 2 months ago yung nawala. So, yun ho.
So you suspect that was in retaliation?
I really cannot speculate on that, but definitely nabawasan kami yung rice program namin ng 10 billion and maybe pinatong nila yung doon sa dagdag nila sa kanilang flood control. I really don't know.
Now, before we let you go, a quick update on rice. Are we getting a bumper harvest this year? Or...
well, yes. I'm happy to report that our estimates, although nag-recast na kami, no, we were thinking of 20.450 million metric tons. That due to a lot of rain and binaba namin to about 2.3. But it's still almost 300,000 tons higher than the record that we should set on 2023. So, positive pa rin.
All right. We thank you so much for your time, Secretary Kiko Chu Laurel.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now to other news. The Justice Department has approved the filing of 2 counts of sex trafficking charges against Gawad Kalinga founder Tony Meloto. In a 16-page resolution, the DOJ found prima facie evidence to indict Meloto for allegedly establishing, quote, a structured system of sexual exploitation using organizational hierarchy and deception. 2 scholars of Gawad Kalinga School for Experiential and Entrepreneurial Development, or SEED, have accused Meloto of sexually abusing them in 2017. Meloto had previously called these accusations baseless. By establishing Gawad Kalinga in 2003, Meloto won the prestigious Ramon Magsaysay Award 3 years later, but his legacy is now imperiled with these accusations. State prosecutors agreed with the complainants that Meloto used his authority to abuse them sexually and, quote, satisfy his lustful desire. We earlier spoke to the complainant's lawyer and people close to Meloto. Take a listen.
The fact that they filed a complaint, they were able to file the complaint, that to them is already a victory because they felt heard already. It took them 8 years. They felt that they were actually silenced. So in human trafficking, one of the elements there is that you transport or you transfer an individual. So it doesn't have to be abroad. So if you transport an individual under the pretext of supposedly saying, oh, I'm going to give you training, I'm going to give you apprenticeship in a different location. But eventually, instead of giving that person the training or the work, if it's work, you actually sexually exploited the person. So
I know you can't talk about the details of the case, but the allegations against Tony Meloto, could he be capable of doing this?
You know, he loves the poor so much. He's put so much into it, his life's work. It doesn't add up at all.
Ako hindi po ako naniniwala doon. Unang-una sa pagkataon ni Tito Tony, matanda na yun. Ang tanging nakikita ko lang dito, itinago yung matagal ng lihi na dapat na nakikita ng buong mundo kung gaano nasisira yung lugar namin. So I think ginawa tong bagay na to, yung accused na ito, dahil marami silang pinagtatakpan na ayaw nilang lumabas.
We've been following this story for weeks, and I was able to sit down and talk at length with several people, all key voices to this controversy. Stay tuned to One News for that special report, which we'll be bringing you in the coming days.
And circling back to our top story, the changing of the guard in the lower chamber drew mostly positive reactions. Fellow lawmakers lauded both the former speaker for his decision to step down and his successor as someone who can lead or help lead in rebuilding the institution's integrity.
Dahil nakikita rin niya na masyado nang tinatamaan din yung House, yung institution, at talagang mahal din niya yung Congress. So nakita rin niya na so kaya niya ginawa yung yung sakripisyo na at least to step down.
The House needs this change. The House needs to rebuild its reputation and regain its integrity. after what has happened to the anomalous budget on the flood control, we have to rebuild the public trust.
Over at the Senate, it was somewhat the opposite. Senator Bato de la Rosa saw a different reason for Romualdez' resignation, while Senator Amy Marcos said she feels sorry for the new speaker, whom she has known for a long time.
Is that a sign of guilt? Why does he resign? Huh? Sign of guilt, right?
Guilt about what, sir?
About the accusation. About the problema natin sa flood control. I don't know kung anong bakit siya nag-resign.
With the new leadership, sir, do you think would be good both for the House and the Senate, sir? Under Speaker Boji D, sir?
It remains to be seen.
Si Boji, kawawa naman. Ang hirap ng lugar niya. Kilala ko si Boji, bata pa kami. Magkasama kami sa Kabataang Barangay. Sobrang bait ng tao, awang-awa ako sa kanya.
Ba't nakakaawa, ma'am?
Ang hirap ng sitwasyon niya eh.
But do you think he will be a capable leader po ng House?
Magaling si Boji, kaya lang ang depekto lang niya, sobrang bait. Yun na nga. Marami talagang magpapalusot, maraming magdidemand. Ako, apakahirap ng sitwasyon niya. Arguably the worst job in the world.
Before the House leadership change this afternoon, the DPWH has presented its revised 2026 proposed budget, slashing its allocation to just over 625 billion pesos from the original 881 billion. In line with President Marcos's directive, the DPWH has removed all locally funded flood control projects worth 255 billion pesos, reducing its budget by 29%, the lowest since 2020. This money will now be reallocated to projects in agriculture, education, health care, housing, labor, social welfare, and IT.
We will clean this up now. And I think that is where the President is coming from. Meron na po tayong mga ongoing na flood control at dapat yun po muna ang ating pagtuunan ng pansin, especially given the questionable issues that have been raised against these flood control projects all over the country.
Dizon had 2 weeks to clean up the DPWH budget after some lawmakers flagged continuous funding for flood works that are already finished. But Caloocan Representative Egay Erice lamented cuts for locally funded flood works, some of which he said are not anomalous. Dizon clarified there is still 15.7 billion allocated for foreign-assisted flood control projects. There is also funding for MMDA flood works.
And that's a big story this midweek. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:30 as per usual. We'll see you then. Have a good night, everyone. And up next is Play-by-Play with Andre Felix and Cheska Litod-Calao. Hi guys, what do you have for us?
Good evening, good evening. Good evening, Ses. Good evening, Bok. Mga talagang mga pioneer, mga institusyon sa industriya ng pagbabalita. Saktong-sakto. Ba't ganyan ka makatingin, Bok? Totoo naman
Sabi mo, mas magaling sa math mga to. Kasi ito mga to, sports statistics yung ginagamit mo ngayon.
Nahihirapan kami mag-multiply ng 1.5 million times 3,000.
Oh, I don't do math.
Container vans, right?
Actually, kami din eh.
There's a reason nag-sports ako, so...
Pero sa sports din, may mathematics din
yes,
yun.
Yes, but it's a score.
Kaya nga eh.
Mostly scores.
Pati mga
si Edson, dapat nating tawagin.
Pati feeling ko hindi ganon na magkano yung minumultiply?
1 million times 3,000. So, di ba? 3
Pwede ba maglabas na lang ng calculator? Meron naman sa phone eh.
Bok, labas mo na. Maraming salamat.
Wala pala kaming maaasa sa inyo eh.
Wala.
Wrong crowd.
Baka siya pa sa math. Ako, hindi din. Okay. Alright.
Turuan.
Thank you, great show. Maraming salamat, kita nyo naman. Hindi, galing akong wedding reception kaya naka-necktie. Tapos sabi ko, si Bok, laging naka-necktie yan. So, sige, na-necktie din tayo. Thank you to Ses and to Bok Ed. of the big story tonight. Okay, on our show, no math, well, as far as we're concerned. We look ahead to a do-or-die match between Alas Pilipinas and Iran, plus a check on the latest results from the pool stage of the FIVB Men's Volleyball World Championship.
And it's off to Japan for basketball star Jack and Nimam. We tell you